ታምሪሃ ለእግዝእትነ ማርያም ድንግል ወላዲተ አምላክ.
A man who dedicated his life to educating and enlightening his fellow Christians. A man who reformed and revived the Coptic Orthodox Church. A man who saved the Coptic Church.
You are tuned into CCT, the Christian Coptic Talk, the show where we explore the history and heritage of the Coptic Orthodox Church. Today, we have a special program for you. We are honored to have with us a man who has renewed education for the modern age. He instituted the religious upbringing of our youth and is the dean of the Theological School of Alexandria in Cairo. He is also a talented writer and has played a very important role in many parts of our church life. He was a disciple of Pope Carlos V and His Holiness's Archdeacon. He worked alongside many others, such as Pope Ioannis XIX, Pope Macarios III, and Pope Yosef II. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our program the founder of the Sunday School movement and the dean of the Theological School of Alexandria, the Archdeacon Giorgis.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here.
Let's start at the beginning. Habib Giorgis, can you tell us about your childhood in Cairo in the late 19th century?
Well, it was a time of great change and challenge. I was born in 1876 in Cairo, where my father worked as chief clerk in the prevention of slavery. He was a faithful man who loved God and his family. He taught me to read and write and to love the church. He also gave me many books which stimulated my curiosity and thirst for knowledge.
That sounds wonderful. What about your mother and siblings?
My mother was a very virtuous and gentle woman who cared for us and prayed for us all. After my father passed in 1882, Allah yarhamhu, my mother continued to encourage me to pursue my education and serve the church. For my siblings, my sister and two brothers, we were very close and always supported each other.
How did you spend your leisure time as a child?
I loved to read books, especially about the history and the theology of the church. I also liked to visit the patriarchal library where I could find more books and manuscripts. I also enjoyed going to the church and listening to the sermons and hymns.
You must have been a very intelligent and devout child.
Oh, no. I was just eager to learn. I had many faults and weaknesses that I had to overcome by God's grace.
Well, you are very humble, Habib Giorgis, but we can see that God has a special plan for your life from an early age. In fact, there was an exceptional decision you made in 1898 when you were in your last year as a student at the theological school. You became a religion teacher. And after your graduation, you became a teacher of theology and taught the art of giving sermons.
All glory belongs to God alone. He is the one who guided me and used me for His glory.
Well said, Habib Giorgis. I understand that you started Sunday school while you were still a student at the theological school.
Yes, that's right. I began by gathering children from surrounding churches on Sundays, starting with St. Mary Church in Fagela, and teaching them about the Bible, church rites, history of the church, and the lives of the saints and martyrs.
And I also know that Sunday school has already been introduced in Egypt by Western missionaries in the late 19th century. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, that's true. The numbers of children attending these schools increased rapidly, and the church was concerned about the influence of the Western missionaries. They were using attractive methods to bring the kids to their Sunday school, such as religious pictures and picture Bibles.
So what did the church do to respond to this challenge?
In 1898, the Holy Council, Pope Carlos V, decided that it was the Coptic Church's responsibility to provide Christian education to children. This decision was a source of inspiration for me. And in 1918, I suggested to Pope Carlos V that we create a 10-member consulting group to discuss the education offered to the students in public schools and Sunday schools.
That's really impressive, and I understand that you played a crucial role in developing the Sunday school curriculum and programs?
Yes, that's right. I worked on structuring and organizing the committees responsible for supervising Sunday schools in all Egyptian dioceses. And I used modern teaching methods and Western educators to develop the Sunday school programs and curriculums. I even wrote songs to help children learn the basics of the Christian faith.
Wow, you were really dedicated to this work, and by 1938, there were 85 Sunday schools in Egypt, 3 in Sudan, and 1 in Ethiopia. That's quite an accomplishment.
It was a lot of hard work, but I saw every child as my own and cared deeply about their salvation. I knew that education was the key to resisting the threats from Western missionaries and other conflicts both inside and outside the church.
And I understand that you faced some challenges from the Egyptian government as well.
Yes, that's also true. I resisted the government's attempts to supervise Sunday school and always made sure that the schools were supervised by priests rather than secular leaders.
It's clear that Sunday school had a profound impact on the Coptic Church and the wider society in Egypt. What do you think was the most significant aspect of this movement?
I believe that Sunday school was the turning point for the Coptic Church, as it helped to spread the gospel to a new generation and inspired many young people to become more involved.
So, Mr. Habib, let's talk about your time at the seminary. Can you tell us about the theological school and its history?
Yes, the theological school. Actually, the schools started in the Old Testament. There was a school of prophets founded by the prophet Samuel. This actually inspired me to see the importance of education even in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, the theological school was established by St. Mark. It had a long and rich history as it had a great influence on the whole world.
But it wasn't always active, was it?
No, it wasn't. For many centuries, it was neglected, which resulted in a long history of darkness in the Christian education. But then, Pope Carlos V reopened it.
And you were a student there when it reopened?
Yes, I was. In 1893, the new theological school opened again, officially. I considered it the most successful accomplishment of Pope Cyril V.
Can you tell us about your time as a student there? How many teachers were there? And how many years did you need to study?
There were no teachers at first. The dean of the theological school at this time, Yusuf Makarius, was selecting a few books that were given to the students to read them out loud in front of him in class. The school administration made the exceptional decision for me to start teaching the religion subjects in my last year of studies.
And what about the other students? What was their age range?
Student age was decided to be between 20 and 25, but there were students accepted at the age of 16. Obviously, the material that was taught at the school was very basic.
Were there any notable teachers that you remember from this time?
Actually, there was Father Philoseus Ibrahim el-Baghdadi. He played a very important role in my transformation. To me, he was the only one capable of teaching sermons, and who was deep in understanding the Orthodox faith. This tells you how much education was neglected before my time.
Only one priest capable of teaching? That's concerning.
Bear in mind that the whole education system in Egypt was not there, not only in the church. Also, the political environment in Egypt was not stable, which made matters worse.
Yes, Egypt was under British leadership and there was a declining Ottoman rule that was devastating to Egypt.
Anyway, I finished my last year at the theological school, and then I started teaching there. While teaching at the theological school, I wrote 15 chapters worth of guidelines for the school, and selected 83 subjects of materials that should be taught. I applied programs that were used in the West, in Greece, Rome, England, and the United States, but modified them to suit the Orthodox environment.
And Pope Cyril V approved it?
Yes, he approved it in September 1911.
And you also put a plan for daily spiritual practices for students, correct?
Yes, I did. I included prayers, Bible readings, and contemplation, as well as how to approach the Holy Sacraments. I also developed programs for priests, which was about 4 years, and Sunday school teachers, which was about 3 years. There was also a program for the monks, but it was not implemented.
And you also worked on fixing up the buildings through donations and requesting funds from the Pope?
Correct.
So your goal was to have the theological school offer an important service to the Coptic Church by preparing the youth for priesthood. Is that right?
That was my goal, to prepare youth for priesthood, including monks, as they may end up being bishops and church leaders.
And this proved true for Pope Shenouda III?
Yes, it did.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been truly blessed to have such an amazing and innovative leader in the Coptic Church. Habib Giorgis was a man ahead of his time, with a vision to fix the society of the Coptic congregation as a whole. Not only was he the dean of the theological school, focusing his attention on priests, teachers, and kids, but he also called for free education for all, including the poor and illiterate. He consistently supported the religious upbringing of children and youth, teaching them the basic facts of the Coptic faith, history of the Coptic Church, the dogma, rites, and the lives of its heroes through Sunday school that he established. Habib Giorgis trained our youth to sanctify Sundays for worshiping God on a continuous basis and participating in holy sacraments while living a Christian life. He even worked to have Christian religion taught in public schools. His priority was teaching our youth the true Orthodox dogma to help them resist the teachings of Western missionaries, both Catholics and Protestants. Habib Giorgis' purpose was to train our youth in acquiring Christian virtues. We are forever grateful to his service to our church.
አዳም በበደለ ጌታ ለዓለም ክሶ አዳም በበደለ ጌታ ለዓለም ክሶ ቆሟል ቀራንዮ ከለሜዳ ለብሶ ቆሟል ቀራንዮ አይቀርም ሞቱ ለሜዳ ለብሶ እኔ ማነው ብዬ እኔ ደሃ መስሎኝ እርቃኑን ባየው የጌታ ልጅ ኖሯል የተሰቀለው የተገረፈው የጌታ ልጅ ኖሯል የተገረፈው ዘበልዐ ሥጋየ ወሰት የደምየ ይሄሉ ምስሌ ብለህ ተናግረህ ሥጋዬን የበላ ደሜንም የጠጣ ከኔ ጋር ይኖራል ብለህ ተናግረህ ተኮነን ብትለኝ እንወርዳለን አብረን እኔ ምን ቸገረኝ አይቀርም ሞቱ እንወርዳለን አብረን እኔ ምን ቸገረኝ ዓርብ የታረደውን ምነው ባገኘሁት ሥጋውን በልቼ ደሙን በጠጣሁት አይቀርም ሞቱ ሥጋውን በልቼ ደሙን በጠጣሁት ሲሆን ከሚስቴ ጋር ሳይሆን ብቻዬን ሳልቀምሰው አልቀርም ስጋሁ ደሙን ሳልቀምሰው አልቀርም አይቀርም ሞቱ ስጋሁ ደሙን እኔም ሳላስበው እሷም ሳታስበው አይ ጉድ እንዲህ ተደረገ ወያጅሪ ሰይጣን ቄስ ሆኖ አሳረገ ወያጅሪ ሰይጣን ቄስ ሆኖ አሳረገ ስጋ ማረኝ ብለህ አትናገር ለሰው አንተም የጨዋ ልጅ ተዋርደህ ቅመሰው አንተም የጨዋ ልጅ ተዋርደህ ቅመሰው የዓለም ሰዎች ሁሉ ሁነዋል ጉቦኛ ሞት አንተ ብቻ ነህ እውነተኛ ዳኛ ሞት አንተ ብቻ ነህ እውነተኛ ዳኛ